Okay, I'm having my ketamine session today. I hope it won't have any bearing Joe Biden and Donald Trump's disastrous debate yesterday. It shouldn't. Get a better handle on my phone here. I have some notes I have for my ketamine session for me and for the therapist. My intention for the session is to appreciate the moment and don't feel compelled to accomplish something. I'm always kind of evaluating what else should I be doing to be productive, to be creative, to get people to love me, to help people, and rather than, look at this beautiful stuff and feels good to be alive and stuff like that. Okay, let's see. May I sit down here?
Absolutely.
Ooh, yeah.
So that way you want to understand how to control this. Well, that controls that. So it's basically this and that. Pretty straightforward. And then it will go all the way back to zero gravity. At the end, you can do some head adjustments. It'll adjust the head part of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Good
so you
shot.
have that. And then what I would like you to do is just take 5 milligrams.
This is
THC. It's we like to playfully call it Laffy Taffy. It has a tendency to be playful, very open for creativity and that kind of thing, and just sort of lighten things up a little bit. So I think it helps a lot of times when people who've been using cannabis regularly to kind of so they don't go into a withdrawal or a crash, but it's a nice uplifting kind of quality. And then the other thing is that I put a little bit of water in here, and I'm gonna give a little bit of this is CBG. This is actually a company that's local. I really like their products. It's you have to kind of watch, because sometimes these companies that do really well, they get bought out and then their products change. But I want them to do well, but not so well that they get taken over. But so this is a CBG.
I should go on airplane mode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes airplane mode. Yeah, you were saying?
So CBG, what we know about it tends to be, so we have natural cannabinoids in our brain. They have pain relieving properties, but one of the properties too is mood lifting properties as well. And there's a molecule in the brain called anandamide, ananda meaning bliss. So it seems that CBG might actually help our own natural cannabinoids work more effectively. And so it kind of gives a little uplifting. I wouldn't go as far as saying bliss, but it's more likely to go in that direction. So again, we're just sort of highlighting an uplifting, sort of mildly blissful kind of experience, and that way it will help kind of facilitate the whole ketamine experience. Now I'm going to be talking about this in.
Do you think I should have my notepad to take notes, or?
You can if you want.
I
and
will.
Then what I do is I'm going to be. I take notes, and then what I do is I take pictures of them from my records, and then I hand them over to you as well. Okay. So when you're in the middle of it, because obviously you're not going to want to be writing, you can. I'm your scribe. I can write down if you're kind of in the middle of the experience and you're and you were oh, note this down or write this down for me.
Okay.
That's
nice.
I'm your job.
Oh, you're my secretary too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a dropper on this, and you can just sort of knock this back. This is just some water with that CBG in it. All right. So for the intention.
Should I read that to you, or?
Sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, that's mine, and
That's your tea.
okay, and this is.
You can just give that to me. Okay. Thank you.
So intention is to what I'd like to do is appreciate the moment more. Don't feel compelled to accomplish something.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also. And I'll leave this with you if you want.
Go ahead.
I often try to find a mantra when I'm. So if I could come up with a mantra, that would be good. I've had a meditation mantra. They never seem to work. A visual image that's worked for me some in the past is I'm an upside down cone. All my bad thoughts or whatever just slide off me and I'm just inside. Mm-hmm. That might be reinforced, or if there's any other mantra that comes up, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
to kind of repeat some of this, I want to be content in the moment more. Look, I have this, I have my health, I have my wife, I have so much that should be good enough. Why do I still get anxious and depressed from time to time? And I have been some lately. I also sometimes don't feel relevant if I'm not doing a real productive, worthwhile, what I think is a worthwhile project. So I'd like to always feel relevant. In talking to you last time, I realized cannabis and alcohol may be getting in the way of a good sleep, which could be getting in the way of my happiness. So I have to, I'm struggling with, am I going to stop this and how will that be, or will I cut it back or whatever? That's an issue. Another issue with me is, why do I always need feedback that I'm great? Or I would like more people to say, you're a great project, or you're such a nice guy. And I'd like my wife and others to say that more. When I go to open mic, which is my favorite thing to do, and I'm on cannabis and alcohol, I feel fun, loving, I feel playful, whimsical, happy and content. And can I feel that way without these other substances? I should be able to, but you know. And lastly, kind of different thing, I'm making a documentary about my 20 years at the Burning Man Festival.
Nice.
And if I come up with, in this session, any ideas of how to end it, or any insights for my documentary or my experiences, that'd be great.
Wonderful.
And I'll leave this with you.
Now, I was curious, I had sent you both lab sheets and some value sheets. Did you get a chance to take a look at the value sheets attachments?
You know, I don't remember that. The lab and I don't remember getting lab sheets. Maybe I got them and I didn't open. I was waiting to get the labs, but maybe you sent those and yeah.
Taylor would have.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah. So, and the value sheet. Well, okay.
Yeah, I put. I gave both a lab sheet and our value sheets, because I think that's core to a lot of the things that you're talking about with like purpose, relevancy, the need for affirmation, more insights on some of the projects that you're having on, like this Burning Man project that you're doing, but getting clarity on what are the values that when you're embodying those values, it generates an experience of meaning. Because that's really what is fulfilling, is when you have that experience of meaning, that this is definitely something that I'm into, that really resonates deeply in my body. It's not just up in the head, but it's up down in the heart. And that's one of the areas. And what we're doing today is I'm going to guide you a little bit, using it like an unintentional guide, just to get you, just to sort of pivot your attention away from the thought aspects of our mind. Just let them sort of be, but then bringing your attention more into the sensational aspects of our experience. So we'll be doing that just to kind of bring it down and into the sort of the heart space, which will often be helpful to facilitate the intention that you brought today.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to just see where you're at right now. I want to
Okay.
get your blood pressure. So
Okay.
just hang out right there.
Okay. Let's see, leaning back.
No, the other way. If you want to go all the way back.
Okay.
Oh, keep going. Oh, keep going. Then
Yeah,
this will
gotcha.
start to come back.
Okay.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, very nice. And I don't necessarily need to listen to music, but I could, but I
often will start with some music, but
Okay.
if you're like, hey, I actually would rather hear the birds chirp, then we shut it off.
Okay, sure.
You have the power to dictate. Let's think about that little thing here. Arm through. Thank you.
do I keep this on during the session?
Nope. You don't
Okay.
have to. That's the nice thing about when we're doing IM. We try to keep it as demedicalized as possible, so that you don't have to have cords sticking to you or anything else like that. But just now, just bring your attention to your body and notice it being supported by the chair below you. And then simply give your body permission to release the entirety of its weight onto the support below it. And with ketamine, it enhances our capacity for suggestibility. So even in your mind, it's like words like letting go, allowing, receiving, these kind of words, or whatever other words that you might find that would be helpful. And just this sort of shifting from a doing mode to a more of a receiving and open receptivity mode. Just receiving the sounds from the birds, receiving the support. We're almost there. I just need to guide you a little bit more, just a little bit above. And that's normal. And a lot of times we have a little bit of it would be abnormal almost not to have any kind of anticipatory anxiety here. So what I'd like you to do is, because you're probably like a lot of us, just have a lot of thoughts going on. So let's meet you where you're at. So bring your attention up into your head, behind your eyes, between your ears. Just like there's like a little control tower up there, a little person who's controlling all the things up in that head of yours. Bring your attention in that area, and just attention naturally, your body's naturally sensing your body's sensations. So we don't have to try to sense. It's more like tuning in and pivoting your attention away from thoughts, just leaving them be. We don't try to get rid of them. We just let them be there. They're just going to spontaneously arise and fall. But just bringing your attention and emphasizing more of the sensational aspects of our experience. So just notice the sensations in your head. Notice the sensations in your cheeks. Then going a little bit more lateral, notice your ears, the outer ears, the ridges, the valleys, the folds that comprise your outer ears. Then let your attention come medial to your nose. And notice the movement of air as it just caresses the walls of your nostrils. And what I would like you to do is just let go of trying to control or manipulate your breath in any way. Just give the keys back to the body and allow it to breathe you rather than you trying to breathe it. Just like we do every time we fall asleep. It's just that right now we're just practicing doing that consciously. And in so doing, you're giving keys back to 3 million years of evolutionary wisdom. That's how long humanoids have been on this planet. So just giving back to that 3 million years of wisdom and just letting it breathe you rather than you trying to breathe it.
I sometimes have a hard time when I'm thinking about breathing. I get too focused on it, but I'm trying to do what you say.
Sure, that's all you can. Then bring your attention to your jaw and just notice your upper and lower jaw and the hinge that connects the two. If you notice any tension there, again, don't try to relax it. Just offer the suggestion that if it wants to unwind, loosen, allow, receive, or whatever other words that would come to you, just offer these as invitations. Whether it lets go or not, that's not up to you. But we just are sort of opening the environment for this sort of open, relaxed, receptive state. And then bring your attention with the help of gravity down into your throat. And just notice the movement of air at the level of the throat as it caresses the walls of your windpipe. See if you can notice there's a slight difference between the inhale and the exhale at that level. Noticing that the inhale is a little bit cooler, a little bit drier. And then on the exhale, it's a little bit warmer, a little bit more moist as the air that was breathed in was moistened and warmed by your body and then comes back up. Just see if you can notice that slight difference there. And then continuing the descent, letting your attention continue to go down into your chest area. And just first notice how your clothes feel in your chest, whether they're tight, loose, or somewhere in between. Notice the muscles of your chest and correspondingly your upper back. And as we're letting the tension seep inwards, just notice the bones, the sternum, the chest plate that's protecting your organs there, and the ribs that come around and wrap all the way around to the back and the upper spine. And you can notice that the bones have a little more density to them. And then continuing this descent inside, going into where your heart and lungs are. Now, only about 10% of people can actually feel their heart rate when they're at rest. So the vast majority, 90% of us cannot. But for those of us, whether we can feel it or not, it's actually very helpful to just drop the attention into that heart space and let it find a spot somewhere in that vicinity where it just feels like a nice little parking spot where it can just park itself, rest, and then just do what it naturally does effortlessly, and that is just sense whatever's present in that space. In your mind, you may want to repeat that intention that you have for today in the heart space as we prime the pump, so to speak. And then continuing the descent, let's go a little bit further down into what's called the solar plexus. That's right when the ribs start to open up. If you were to get hit there, you get your wind knocked out of you, because that's where your diaphragm is. Just bring your attention to that midsection region of your abdomen. And just notice the movements there, the sensations there, not trying to change it or manipulate it, but just being an observer and receiving the sensations. And then just continuing this nice descent down the body, down to the belly button. Maybe just an inch or two just below the belly button. Now, in Chinese traditional medicine, this area, which is like the center of gravity of our body, they would call it the Sea of Qi, or your Dantian. And if you can visualize, what oftentimes they would do in Qigong exercises is visualize a golden ball in that region. And what you can do is to be a little bit playful with this, is that you can see if your body likes it if the ball starts spinning like clockwise, and see how that feels, and then experiment with it going counterclockwise if you're able to image this and visualize. And just see if one of those directions seems more comfortable for you than the other. Again, not trying to change or manipulate the breath, just allow your body to breathe you. Then letting your attention then go through the body, into the back to the tailbone at the base of your spine. Notice how the base of your spine is being supported by the chair below. Release the weight of your body to the chair below as it completely can support you. It can be helpful and somewhat playful to imagine that the chair below is a supportive, friendly chair that's supporting your body. And then just noticing your thighs and your hamstrings, your knees, your shins and calf muscles, your ankles. And let your attention then flow naturally down, easily down into your feet. Noticing how your socks feel, whether they're tight, loose, or somewhere in between. Notice your heels, the arches of your feet, the toes and the balls of your feet. And just not trying to concentrate, just let your attention simply rest there as I take another measurement of the blood pressure. And just let your attention simply slide with the help of gravity, slide and down, collect in your feet. Perfect. We got it. You've passed the first gate. 135 over 82. That will allow us to do what we need to do. Excellent. All right. So, your body weight, how much do you weigh?
197.
Okay. So we'll just round that up to 200. And then I'm going to convert that into kilograms. Divided by 2.2.
You have a peace sign in your ceiling.
I know, I noticed that. So for you, so when we look at studies, when they look at ketamine studies, they do it by dividing the milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So you're at 90.9 kilograms. So we simply, if at 0.5, we just divide that by 2. So to get what most studies would use at around about 40, about 40.5 milligrams, and up to 0.75 milligrams per kilogram. So that would be another 60. So between 40 and 60 milligrams will be the dose ranging that we will work with. And so what I'm going to do is start with a 20 milligram dose. See how you feel. We're going to probably do a series of 3 injections. This is why we have a 2.5 hour session, because everybody's a little bit different. And what you can just do is I'll do a little bit of guidance as it's going in. Generally, after the injection, you'll feel it in about 4 to 5 minutes starting to kick in. Generally, we'll peak at around 12 to 15 minutes thereafter. And I will generally ask at around that time, like, all right, how are you feeling? Would you want the next injection? And depending upon what you're noticing in your body, I might increase the dose, keep the dose the same, or something. But if we did a series of 20, 20, 20, it would actually bring you up to 60 anyway, so you would get the full dose. And that's the key, is that within 2 hours to get that dose within a 2 hour line. That helps the brain activate those neuroplastic centers and all other, and the anti-inflammatory, all the benefits that we get for ketamine.
Okay.
You have any questions?
And then towards the end of the session, will you prompt me with my intention at all, or how does that work?
It depends on what's arising in the session.
Okay.
I'm sort of feeling it out as you are giving me what's going on, and I'm coming back. We might, because sometimes the intention, what we find is that the intention is a helpful tool, just like that I'm taking this seriously with earnestness. And so by doing that, but sometimes the journey might actually not seem associated to the intention at all. But just the fact, what we look at science is that when we just set the idea of setting the intention itself, regardless of whether the journey matches that intention or not, seems to have importance in its efficacy. I think just by the intentionality and just being sort of like I said, sincere with what am I using this for? I'm not just doing it to go party or play or something like that. I'm actually doing this for a bigger purpose. Okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to draw up the first one. First, I'm going to wash my hands.
Okay. No two people have ever been so in love, been so in love, been so in love.
So I will start with a little bit of music, but obviously if it's
Okay.
something that you want to turn off, you have full control over that.
Okay. I like music.
You turn this on.
Battery 100%. Connected to Dr. Mantz Awesome S22 Elgrif.
And you get to be you're the first person in this therapy room.
Oh, this is a nice room.
Yeah.
Can you turn down the music a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is
Good
actually, the art walk that we have
Yeah.
on Sundays? That's a local artist right there.
Oh.
He's really good. His name is Ping. I really love his work.
That is nice.
So So while I'm preparing, yes, you can go back to your intention of appreciate the moment more, not feeling compelled to accomplish something, looking at the ideas of purpose, relevancy, affirmation, and then perhaps insight from your Burning Man documentation. So we're priming the pump with that. Any problems receiving needles?
Not particularly. No. I don't. My veins don't show up well for blood tests, but I guess that's not relevant here.
Yeah, this would be IM only for that. You can just stay where you are. I got everything else.
Didn't hurt at all. Like
Good
that.
start.
Good start. Go team. Go team brain. I'm about to change my synapses, huh?
And that's really the key, is like also there's the acute phase, what you're going to experience now, but really where it matters is the subacute phase. It sort of like leaves behind a perfume, as we say. And so the more behaviors that would improve neuroplasticity, like exercise, certain foods, like whether it's like berries or cherries or things like that that have like healthy things for the brain, healthy fats like avocados, olive oil, wild salmon, these kind of things. So it's like you're providing the right raw material. So think of the ketamine as the fertilizer, it's stimulating growth, and then the more you can support that growth through behaviors that help foster neuroplasticity, including eating foods that are high, like in omega-3s and that kind of stuff, like I said, like wild salmon, because your brain is about 60% fat, and the vast majority of that is the omega-3 fatty acids as well. So walnuts, those kind of things. So the more you sort of make this sort of, from today and the rest of this week, a kind of like retreat for your body and a rejuvenation experience for your body, the more that you'll get out of the experience. So what I'd like you to do is just allow your eyelids to close, and when your eyelids close your eyes, just notice the velvety darkness that the eyelids provide the eyes, that soothing darkness. And with closing the eyelids, it's a sort of a signal to the attention in the mind to just go inwards. And let's first just notice your body as a whole body sensation. And one way to do that is just notice your body's posture right now, this felt sense of it. Notice the sense of gravity on your body as it's hugging you to the chair below. And also the felt sense of like the inner light or the vitality within the body, whether it's high, low, somewhere in between. And then just bring your attention to the contact surface area where your body meets the chair and your chair meets the body. And give your body a kind of a nice suggestion to release the weight of itself onto the chair, onto the support below you. And that's okay if there are certain parts that are still sort of holding on. That's quite normal if that is occurring. If there are any areas that feel like they're calling to you, you can just simply go to them and maybe offer a suggestion that, because a lot of times if there is some holding, there may be some sense of needing more sense of safety and security. these are oftentimes the things that make our body want to just guard a little bit. So just reassuring any parts of your body that they're safe and secure, and that I'm here to support you and guide you in your process. And also to remind you as we go into the beginnings of the journey and deeper into the journey, and if at any time you want me to write anything down, it's noteworthy, whether an image that pops up or a memory or a thought of some sort, I'm here to be your scribe.
Scribe, like in the old days.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, are you using a reed or a pen?
I should actually. A little feather thing.
Yeah. So I feel some sensation now, nothing too noteworthy, but something going on.
Where do you feel it?
In this trunk area.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like a lightness, a heaviness, a tightness, a looseness?
Maybe a little tightness, tingling maybe. Now in my crotch area, it feels kind of present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's interesting in the lower doses, as ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic, so on the high end it will start to dissociate the mind with the body, and you go and you feel like you're as if you're not in your body. But in the beginning phases, at the lower end of the spectrum, it helps embody the person deeper. So it's like on the two opposite sides of the pole. On the deep end of the pool, it's a dissociation, letting go of letting the mind sort of be free from the body. But on the low end of the pool, it actually enhances the awareness of the body.
The pool of the body, you said, huh?
Mm.
What do you mean by that? The body is a pool, kind of?
I'm not sure I used the term. I was just using the body as like, let's see how I might have just letting yourself. Really, the overall idea is to emphasize, like in the body, when in the beginning you're more embodied. It helps you to sort of feel the body more presently and be more aware of it in the low end of the dosing spectrum. So like you said, I noticed a little bit in my like sort of upper chest and sort of abdomen region, and then it sort of spread down into the pelvic region, and there's a greater awareness of that. So that's what I was
Nice.
pointing.
Feel it in my thighs some now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I notice in talking, well, I thought my voice was a little different, but maybe.
And there will be, if we do go, depending upon how this session goes, but if we do wind up peaking and going deeper, you might notice then on the deeper end of the scale that it becomes harder to find the words to talk for a while.
Okay.
And that's quite normal.
So I'm videotaping this. I'm hoping I'm not. I normally am not very self-conscious when I videotape myself, but I don't want to be too focused, obviously, on videotaping it, or on whatever I can get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just let go and just let whatever happens, happens.
Okay.
Because that's what it's meant to be. Because one of the key things whenever doing any kind of psychedelic therapy is the capacity to let go. Because sometimes in these experiences might unearth certain material that could be a little bit uncomfortable, and the best thing is to just receive it, be open, allow, receive. And that's what one of the main things is, learning how to teach people how to shift from our normal waking doing mode, doing, controlling, being productive, and shifting into a receiving mode. Being open, receptive, allowing, just letting your experience unfold however it wants. in Chinese traditional medicine, the doing mode would be considered yang, the active element, the fire element. And then the receiving mode would be sort of the yin element, and that would be symbolized elementally as wood. So oftentimes when we're younger, we have like a lot of wood reserve, so we can kind of like get away with do without enough like sort of refueling and receiving. But as we get older, that we need to also bring back the balance of going from doing to receiving, because they're not like opposites. They are actually the same thing at two different time points, where if I want to empower my doing, my next round of doing, then by receiving, by giving my body a chance to receive, I will build that sort of wood element within my body, so then I can burn a nice powerful fire when I'm productive. Take your pressure. Perfect. So we'll do another 20.
Okay, bring it on.
That's the spirit. So I don't just beat up on your right arm, I'm going to go down to your left arm.
I like the idea of being part of the elements.
What party?
Well,
did you like
I was kind of having the elements come into me, but then I'm kind of giving to the elements too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a dance.
It's a dance. Oh, da, 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 da. It's okay if I vocalize, right?
It's okay to do whatever you want. If you want to, also if you feel like the movement is wanting to be happening, I want you to feel as comfortable to express yourself. As long as you don't punch me in the face, I'm good.
Can I slap you?
That's another kind of video.
La da dee da 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 da. I'm thinking about, is this recreational drugs or is this therapeutic drugs or?
Well, how many recreational drugs have you set intentions with, that you have a sitter with, that you have all these other, that you have an intake for?
What was your question?
I said, how many times have you recreationally used drugs where you had a prior session of intake, you set an intention, and you did all these other sort of pre-workings?
Not often.
Because oftentimes that's what sets, it's the set and setting and the intention behind it that makes the big difference. And that also, having a sitter can be very helpful because you can completely let go. The more comfortable you are with that sitter, the more you get to know each other, the more you can feel safe and secure, and the more the body just says, all right, I can let go. When we're by ourselves, there's always a little part of us like, hey, I gotta make sure if something happens is not so great, I need to be a little bit more like on my game. And so it's harder to fully let go. But when you're in the presence of, especially someone, a medical professional, you can say, yeah, if anything happens, he's got my back. You can just relax.
Well, if the worst came to worst, I could just become compost. That's actually kind of an interesting mantra. I note to self that I'm compost, and it's just all part of the growth and the enzymes seeping in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't lost touch with reality, but I do feel different feelings.
Would you like to describe those feelings?
A little bit floating, a little bit opened up,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit with the music. It's kind of nice to make something audio.
Mm-hmm.
I can add to the enzymes with my sound. I own the copyright to this song. I am a bullshitter in a big, nice chair. Having fun, going places, being aware.
Now, while we're still in the medium level thing, because you are starting to get some of the floating is the beginning of that sort of dissociative element.
Dissociative, yes, yeah.
It's a positive dissociation.
It's what?
It's a positive dissociation. It's a sort of a liberation of your mind, of your sense of consciousness with your body. And that way you can just be open, be free. It also helps with being able to take perspectives that you may not normally have access to in regards to, just looking at your intention of appreciation, being in the moment, affirmation, purpose, relevancy, and the Burning Man documentary.
I wonder what the deal is with heat and Burning Man. Normally I don't like heat and I go away from fire, but heat can cook stuff too, and warmth is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Guess it's a matter of degree.
Yeah, matter of degree. I like the idea of floating. Can I float?
You may float.
Can I float?
You can just enjoy the floating. If you wanted to sort of just revisit some of those things you brought up in your intention, you may do so. As we give that last dose, then I'm going to want you to just let everything go and just let the experience unfold and you just be passive. So in this second injection, if you want, you can still use a little intentionality here or not. You can let that be your choice.
Born free, free as a whatever.
How's your body feeling?
Good. Still here. It's nice I have my own body. Thank you, God, for allowing me to have this body, and everybody has their own, but I guess we're all connected some.
So I want to ask you if you're feeling very comfortable. It seems like you're just really having a nice, smooth time. And given that, this, as we stated, it might be a one and done, would you want me to maybe go a little bit further? And normally, because I can go and then give you, I've been giving you 20, 20, and then I think your body, the way it's responding, let's check here. Yeah, perfect. We can do a 40 milligram dose on the last dose and then have you sit back, put your eye mask on, and just let it go.
The more the merrier.
I had a feeling you might say that, and I think that would be...
Marry, marry me, merrier. Bum, 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 bum. Resonate with me. Harmonize with me. Harmonics.
Yeah, so one of the nice things about ketamine, it increases our perception of sound. Oftentimes you can feel sound a little bit more.
It's something I have control of, making sounds and feeling the sounds. I can go there. Wow, I'm gonna be everywhere.
That is true.
Okay, I can.
You just relax.
You can just relax. Okay. Da, 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 da. Deep, 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 deep. Da, 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 da. Alcohol washes me clean. Be the butterfly you can be. I am a butterball turkey, you've heard me. I get a shot, and I do feel a little bit of a shot in my back.
This is a bigger one, that's why.
A big. It doesn't feel, it doesn't really hurt. It's kind of like, pretends like maybe it's a little hurt. They're harmonics. I like how they're at different levels, harmonics. I can, by making sound, I can why is harmonics?
So at this stage, as this medicine will start to kick in,
Yeah.
I'm going to have you, I'll suggest, and I'll give you some guidance here, but what I'd like to see is if this is I'm going to have you wear an eye mask. If you remove your glasses, and see if this is a decent fit for you. I'll try it for you. See if that is okay.
What?
You can actually open your eyes with these
I
masks.
like that.
Is it blocking out all the light?
Yeah, it blocks all the light.
Okay. And I'm going to bring you all the way back on this one so that you're in zero
Take me
gravity
down,
position.
take me home. Take me down.
And then if you want, you let me know. You want up a little bit or down?
Down.
Down. Good?
Good.
All right. Perfect.
Good boy, good boy. Participation. Participate.
So just
Wow.
bring your attention back into your body.
Okay, I'm doing some kind of
Yeah, you're gonna go a little bit deeper here. So
interesting. Going deeper without seeing.
So at this stage, just let go of any intentions, any kind of manipulating suggestions.
Let go.
Just let it all go. Give your body and mind complete permission to be completely passive. And let the medicine.
Let it go. Don't pee in my pants, but let it go.
You'll be okay with that.
It's a nice dissociative. It's nice getting away from.
Call route 805
Did not mean that for that to
765
happen.
4219.
That should have been blocked.
What's Siri talking about?
I'm going to make sure that put it on airplane mode.
Siri. The full tilt boogie. Wow. sing about when I'm insecure. Continue to just let go.
Anything to report?
Be yourself because you are yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Feeling fine, feeling fuzzy, feeling fun, feeling fine, feeling with the music. I'm trying to find something tangible. Da 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 da. this? Is there some relationship to God in this song? That I am right now in this song. I'll be the song. Elasticity, plasticity, I was passing.
Just kind of slowly, just bring the chair up a little bit, but stay consistent as there, just to slowly start to transition.
Transition.
Just a little bit.
It's all about transition. I don't have to do anything, right?
You don't.
I just sit here.
You can just receive,
Yeah,
and
just
if there's
receive.
something you want me to write down that comes across your mind, let me know.
Well, that was quite the space I was in.
Any images or things that you recall?
I was in the garden. Spatial flakes between us. Jump around.
Did you say spatial flakes?
Spatial flakes between us. La da 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 da. Ah, I'm trying to harmonize. Ah,
As you notice, you're coming back into your body.
coming back to my body. Here's my body touching things. My body touching things. Making music. Might not be Beatles, but it's not. Ruffles Springfield. How entertaining am I? What a good show. I love you, God. Love, I love you. I lord it over you. 3% of my 76. Wow, we're just dialing it down, dialing it down, getting back to reality. Oh, you have a new tune a new reality too. La-da-da-dee-dee-doo. Why do you always have to have tunes going on? Da-da-da-da-da.
Would you like it off?
No, I don't know. I'm curious. This note and that note. Why important? Could I be a vibrator? Someone's vibrator. Can I vibrate for you? Okay, I'm just gonna let it go. Dee-doo.
Perfect.
Poop, 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 poop. Poop, 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 poop. I don't have to do anything. I can be what I am. I am what I am. I'll have some yams when I get home. Yam, 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 yam. I like yams, well, not as much as I like spare ribs. I like them more, and candy. Whose copyright is this song? It's this song. AI, hi. Hi, AI, hi. Toast to you. Cheers. I cheers you. I want to just cheers you, and you. Yeah, I might be able to come back to reality. I might have a new perspective. think I'm getting my money's worth. I'm amusing my psychiatrist. That's my purpose in life. The last one was a little chunky, most beautiful sound I've ever heard. Maria. I thought you were going to sing Maria. Maria, 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 Maria. Maria. Come on, Maria. Mother Mary, man. At the burn, go Maria. Mother Mary, Mother Mary. Mommy. Mommy, may I call you Mommy? Come to me, Mother Man, come to me, let me. Give an extra ration of scotch to that memory.
Mm-hmm.
Give an extra ration of scotch to that memory. I'm giving out congratulations here, congratulations there. I'm going to give out treats too. Everybody can have the treats. Treat, treat, treat. Karaoke. The panels.
Just going a little bit more, just little by little.
Oh yeah. You're putting me up stairs, okay? Fine.
Just little bits.
Okay, then coming back to reality. There is a reality after all, Larry. Remember, don't totally fly off the handle. You are you, Larry Dimmer, Lawrence Paul Dimmer. You are you. Come on, you get back to yourself. There's this guy here, 73 or so. But in between, 50, 30, 21, skinky, schwanker. And what does that mean? That means whatever you want it to be. You have a nice face mask. I'm glad I don't see anything, because it's nice having some music, I guess, to direct me.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps it's helpful to have something to focus on.
Most people find it helpful, but there are times when.
Do you think you're talking with me?
I sometimes do.
Okay. How clever, capable, clairvoyant, and culpable can I be? Can I make myself laugh? Hey, 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 hey. That's not a good look, Larry. Oh, go there. Just go there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How are you feeling in your body now?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I feel like I'm not freaking out. I feel like I'm going to be able to find myself and probably walk out of here and just say probably.
High confidence level.
Yeah, although there's only a quarter that I'll sue you. Percentage I was talking about. But there's always this sue percentage is nothing. I want to give it to everybody. I think I'm at the end of the line of the chair. It feels like I'm sitting up, but I feel like I'm laying down. Probably the ultimate disrobing will be when my mask is taken off. The ultimate disrobing. Will I need to go like this when you take my mask off? Because I don't want my neighbors to see all my
Well, what I'm going to do is
funky
actually
parts.
pull the curtains a little bit, because your eyes will be a little bit more sensitive.
Pulling the curtain here. Are you the Wizard of Oz? How well do I harmony for peace. Peace. Can we all send peace? That's ketamine for peace. Ketamine for peace.
Infused correctly, sure.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. What if about using correctly? Don't even consider it. There might be some reality I can come back to. Some valid flashpoint, some valid nature point. Oh, I think the chair is going maybe to an upright position. I think these stars will align, and I will be able to walk out of here with a dick 3 inches shorter, 3 inches longer, and 3 inches sideways. La 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 la, and a heart with a wobble surface. I just want to crack myself up. Wow. Got my money's worth. Ringo Starr.
Peace.
Luckily I'm continent. I can hold my pee-pee, I can hold my poo-poo. I can hold it all in when I need to. Why are you posting this online when you think you should be all transparent?
Wonderful vibrato.
What'd you say?
It's a wonderful vibrato there.
What's vibrato?
Vibrato, like
Those birdies are singing vibrato.
Yeah.
Vibrato. How much do you pay those birdies? I hope you give them I hope they get royalties. They're good works.
They do. They do an excellent job.
Make sure the check's in the mail. La 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 la.
So, I'd like to have you start to sit up a little, maybe consider taking the mask off.
Are you kidding me?
I know, it's such a shame. But when you do so, lower your gaze, because it's like coming out of, remember, like old movie theater and like bright lights.
You know, I have this, I'm afraid of taking my mask off and seeing that I was never recording. You think you hit record, but you didn't hit record. And it's all wasted. But it's never wasted. Do you think I'm maybe the fifth Beatle?
You might be.
I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to hold you to it. I'll sue you for everything you're worth if I don't become the fifth Beatle. What am I listening to?
This is a gentleman who's converting some Bach's work onto flamenco guitar.
Who's what? Bach's work.
Yes.
Bach, B-A-C-H?
B-A-C-H.
That Bach.
Johann Sebastian.
Johann. I can still play with him because I'm still in Spacey land. I still have my shades on. I still can twirl my toes. I still see some kaleidoscope stuff. Did you say I could take my mask off?
Yes.
What if I don't want to take my mask off?
Well, you can leave it on for a little bit longer.
I'll leave it on a little longer. 'Cause I like this, babe. And I'm talking for myself for later, so I know what I'm thinking. I can see it later. Do you know what a polynostrum is?
Nope.
I made up a polynostrum. Wow. I have your full attention for this full time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I pay a pretty penny, but what's a pretty penny? I mean, one pretty penny is someone else's poop. I'm gonna give that bird a cape. If I have a birdie cape when I walk out of here, I'll give it to Birdie.
You all right?
If I have one. I might have one. I probably don't, but I might have a birdie cape to offer to that bird. Is that a real bird? That's a real bird, isn't it?
That is a real bird.
That's a nice combination of reality and bullshit. Pandora. Is it Pandora I'm listening to?
Spotify.
Same Siri, Larry. Okay, let's see. I'm still playing with myself. I get to play with myself. Am I still on the clock?
You're on the clock.
I'm not wasting your
35
time
minutes
yet. Okay, I'm not wasting your time, am I? No. Okay, great. One always worries whether one wastes one's time.
Well, that was one of the worries that you wanted to explore.
Sometimes I'm concerned about my lower back. It feels fine. Is that you?
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, hey.
Just to keep your legs up a little bit, but
Well, this has been a nice experience. Let's see. Considering taking off my mask. So I can take off my mask, right?
yes.
In my picture of the day, I made a picture of my brain with going this way and that way.
You can give it to me.
Pardon me, may I do this first?
Sure. You can do it.
Thank you.
The showman.
If someone is very entertaining to you, do you sometimes like pay them thousands of dollars?
You wish. Do you want me to lower it all the way, or
What was that?
do you want me to lower this all the way? or
No,
leave
I
it
just playing with my back.
got it.
It's nice that being with a therapist, psychiatrist, that one of my issues is I always, if I'm not on, I feel like I need to be recorded, be on and so forth. I almost, so part of me is concerned whether the recording is still happening, and I'm still concerned about that. And I almost want you to pull the cord out of the wall, and it doesn't matter if it's been recorded or not, it is what it is. Are we in, what's it called now, integration period?
A little bit. You're still in feeling it pretty decently.
Okay,
so
good. How much more time do I have with you?
You have about another half hour.
Oh, good. So I don't have to feel hurried or anything.
No, that's one of the reasons why we do the first session 2.5, so that, because you can imagine it stops at 2, that means you're done in 3 minutes. That would be a rush job. But
Ketamine and done. No, it's fun having this opportunity to
let loose.
let loose.
And it gives yourself the freedom to take on new perspectives.
So my default self says, Larry, default Larry standing by. Okay, what's new? What new perspective do you have? What new connection? This feels good though. Stretches. The brain is kind of like the body. It wants to stretch.
Absolutely.
It wants to be playful.
That's for sure. It's just definitely your brain likes to be playful, like a lot of our brains.
Like a lot of our brains?
Yeah, some of us have a higher need for play than others.
I kind of like keeping my eyes closed, I guess.
Feel free.
Because I can channel that other space a little bit better.
Sure. Was there any particular, you've mentioned kaleidoscopes, any other images or things that were particularly...
No, I don't think I had any particular images. It's kind of like whirling around, and it's like a thing at a festival where it's a thing that goes up and it's kind of an image I had. I'm glad this thing can spin around, because I could let it go continuously if I wanted to. Well, on Spotify, is there a name that you put in for this?
I created these playlists for ketamine particularly.
Oh, interesting.
After years of, since 2019, I had some ideas of what would be helpful, and then I watched how people responded to different songs, and that took out certain songs and added in other songs, and then over time it created a playlist. So I go from like some of the more where there were the sound bowls in the beginning and some like almost like chanting, and then it moved into like more classical music with piano, and then after, which is more, you know, discrete, and then added the cello to it as well, so then you're going into more continuous, and so just weaving those together.
I'm cataloging now what I'm going to do the rest of the day, and how that might have a bearing on my feeling. Cataloging.
Make it a retreat day for yourself.
What was that?
So consider making it like a retreat day for yourself.
Oh, a retreat being a day set apart for however it flows,
Yes, exactly.
however it wants to lay on the land.
And that way it will help with part of your intention of just playing with, not always feeling the need, I have to do something.
I don't have to do something all the time.
Wise words. And then sometimes when you're not doing anything, you might notice you wind up doing something, but it's not born out of a pressure to do something. It's a spontaneous doing.
That's nice. Bonus something. I wonder where that bird is. Where do you think the bird is? Do you think it's up on the roof above us or to the side of us?
It's a good question, actually. At first I thought it would be more on the side, but then that last chirp seemed a little bit.
Maybe
And you feel free to, too, if you wanted to. Like
what was that?
I said, and feel free to, if you wanted to. We can just walk outside and just look at the view if you want to do that, or stay in here. I mean, this is your space,
nice.
and I'm your guide.
Okay, huh. I'd kind of like to look out there and also pee, but not necessarily in that order. Oh, I didn't have any of my, can I have some of my tea?
Of course.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Larry 2.
Point out.
I was speculating ahead of time whether you were going to have a book while I was under it. Just wait for me to do my thing. That's not part of the process.
No, as I'm sensing, as you're bringing up different things, then I sense what would be most helpful for me to write down in the notes, and then I take a picture of it for my records, and then I give you the notes.
Nice.
And what I would suggest is, because ketamine does have a kind of an amnestic quality, and it's like a dream, and if you don't kind of rehearse it, it's like you might forget what transpires, some of it that transpires. So what I suggested, and I put it in the notes here, is that about an hour before you go to bed, just take your notes and just read them through, and just take about 5 minutes, and if it wants to go longer, great, but just about 5 minutes, and after you've read the notes, just journal a little bit, see what comes up for you.
After I read the notes that you've taken.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then come back, because it'll include your intention in that way, and then, usually it's that hour before sleep where our mind starts to reopen back up again, as it's getting ready to just go into that nice deep slumber. So that hour mark before your normal bedtime is a great time to kind of just let the mind sort of like, first you kind of reprime it with the intention and the notes, and then you will, and then just see if something else wants to come forward, and you just jot that down. And then that also acts like a prime for when you then go into bed and you have your dreams and sleep that night. So then you might notice the following day, more starting to unfold, and that's how you really make the most out of these experiences. You're mining in that case. You're just starting to mine for whatever else might come out that would be helpful for you.
Can I ask as a patient to see you on like once a month, once a week, or whatever basis?
To do ketamine
for integrate if I wanted it as therapy.
Sure.
Yeah. And what is the hourly rate for that?
It's currently it's at $4.25 for 50 minutes.
$4.25
For 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's a 20, and for like med management or just like there's a 25-minute for $2.75. We will probably, like I said, at least have that if we can do that, and if you just wanted to have that other wraparound once you get your lab, so that we can go over the physiological elements and look under the hood and get some objective data, and use that to continue to have the whole mind-body integration.
It's ketamine is partly a truth thing. One's more truthful, and talking with you, I wonder. Maybe I just need to relax.
There's a recognition there. It's nice.
Wow, that's an interesting service you provide.
Yeah.
I provide video service. You provide psychological, chemical service. Others provide window washing or window making. The birdies, they probably don't think about it much. See, all my glasses are here. It's nice that the table's very close to the floor.
Yeah, there's the idea one of the interior designer was to make it kind of like like a Zen sandbox.
Oh, huh,
That's
yeah,
kind of like the idea.
yeah, huh. Yeah, oh, the couch is it a low couch?
It had the things, but her recommendation was to have everything kind of low to the ground,
Yeah.
sort of earthy and that kind of thing. So that's very comforting, but like very with monochromatic and then some splotches of color here and there. So that's
Did you put the drapes up because brightness?
correct.
What's the deal with brightness?
So ketamine, I mean, right now your probably eyes have acclimated. I can probably reopen it, but when you're first opening your eyes, remember like when we used to come out of the movies,
Yeah.
and you go into and it would be like you go right out into the sunshine, like whoa, it's like that. And so to mitigate
Or when you
that,
get stuff in your eyes at the optometrist too.
yes,
Yeah.
and everything becomes a little more sensitive. So like I suggest not. On the day of ketamine, like not too much time on screens, because the eyes will become fairly desensitized because of the enhanced glutamate that ketamine does, and a lot of that is in the retina as well, and so that you're not like overly hyper-stimulating your eyes by like watching little screens or stuff like that. I mean, a little bit is fine, but just little doses, but not like going home and then watching like 2 hours, 3 hours of TV probably not would be the best idea. Listening to music, reading books, that kind of thing, going for walks, getting out in nature would be probably the best, because you'll notice that there's it enhances what's called so you're either thinking about what's going on or you're perceiving what's going on, right? There's a dominance, so when we're thinking more, it's more of what we call beta. And when we're receiving our experiences, that's more gamma. In fact, when you look at long-term mindfulness meditators, they'll have higher gamma frequency, and so they're more just in the moment. That's the in the moment process is that. So ketamine will increase your gamma for a period of time, so your ability to just sort of receive your experience going outside, just watch, seeing, hearing, smelling, all that stuff, and just letting it just be as it is, as opposed to immediately our brains will normally they sort of label and tag everything and categorize everything, and when that's the left part of the brain, and when that brain does that, it sort of pushes and experientially it's sort of like distance. There's a slight distancing between then the observer and what is being observed. But when we're just, and that's why mindfulness in that kind of gamma increased state, and you're just receiving, then the subject-object relationship begins to dissolve, and there's more of a sense of connection. If that makes sense. And so this is a great day to, part of this is you're enhancing the neuroplasticity. Now, one could just sort of not do anything and just sort of let it, so that the
Can you turn down the music a spec?
Sure.
Yeah?
So it's like
You're enhancing the neuro...
plasticity. So it's like we've put fertilizer sprinkled all over your brain, and now it's gonna. If we watch your brain 24 to 36 hours, we'll see in your neurons these little buds, like literally like a bud growing from like a new plant growing. These little, they're called dendritic spikes, and so and those are like the beginnings of, hey, something new want to grow. So then if we start to do certain new behaviors or shift certain behaviors in ways that we would want them more to be like, then we now have that these buds that are easier to grow, to change certain habits, shift certain ways of relating with the world or being with the world. So this is an opportunity for you from this point, from the last, it's typically one the injections that we did, which we did a nice robust dose. We did we actually went above 0.75 milligrams per kilogram for this particular time. So you definitely got a nice robust dose that will be that stimulation. So then it's up to you to decide like what do you want to grow in your life? Like what are the things that you want more of, and what are some ones that you would want less of? And so give your attention to that which you want more of, and let your attention sort of let go of what might be not serving you anymore.
Got spoon? This is from the Serving Spoon. It's a cafe in Inglewood in LA. Black neighborhood. Did you see the debate last night between Biden and Trump?
I did not.
Good for you. Purposefully, or you just
Purposefully.
Yeah, okay.
I'll hear it enough from all my patients. I don't need to watch news firsthand. I get it.
You get it secondhand. That's funny. Wow.
So we have about 15 minutes left. Did you wanna?
I think I'd like to go to
Bathroom.
pee out there and then sit back here.
Sounds good.
Good. Nice move on the buttons.
I'll just make, for a second, the walking might seem a little bit weird, but
And a little, yeah, okay.
I'll come help you out here.
Guide me to spot.
Yes. Come on in. To your right. Actually, you're doing pretty damn good.
Whoops. This way, yeah. What was I doing before? Something like this?
Straight ahead.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
Normally it would be the cave bathroom, but that one's out of order.
I remember it differently. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Okay. Wow. Okay, now back here. And some tea. La da. Do 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 do. Yeah. Da 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 da. Wireless charging available.
I'll open up these now. You guys should be all right with everything.
So I don't necessarily feel, wow, this is a whole new world now. I shouldn't expect that necessarily, right?
Yeah, remember this typical for a protocol for depression is a series of 6 sessions. That's called the induction series. So it's 6 sessions, and that's generally what most will do for a patient comes in like with depression. They'll do 6 sessions either twice a week or once a week, depending on the severity and also the person's what seems the best match for them. And then that generally takes care of a lot of different people with a lot of different issues. Now there can be people with like complex trauma who've had like trauma, say from early at like 15 years in their childhood, and so they may need a kind of like a maintenance. So where
Luckily, I haven't had complex trauma,
Yeah.
so I'm appreciative. I've had it pretty good, I must say.
I do have some people who come in just to get, because it gives them a little bit of a boost. Like some people will notice a boost of like productivity or just doing things, getting things done. Usually a day, 24 hours to 36 hours after the last injection. It's just, just like feeling like a little more wind underneath their sails kind of thing. And so that's something that can be noticed even after the first session as well. So again, I would suggest that when you get home to eat a high quality meal. I wrote it down too. So for you, like high quality protein and fats to nourish the brain, because it's gonna be growing. So it's like as if you worked out. Like it's like you work out your muscles, you want to eat some protein. Well, you also want to do the same for your brain. So it's protein and fat. The proteins help boost the neurotransmitters, and the fat will help boost the substrate of the brain itself. Most of the neurons are made out of fat.
So you raised the issue of whether with my cannabis use and my alcohol use, do I not get as good a sleep as I could?
Correct.
And I found, since I chatted with you, if I don't drink alcohol, I do seem to sleep less, which you were saying I was sleeping more than normal, 9 to 10 hours.
Correct.
Yeah. So if I drink less alcohol, I seem to sleep 8.5 to 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Does that mean I got a better sleep? Probably.
How did you feel when you woke up?
I think I felt good. I never particularly feel cobwebbly.
And one would need to do that repeatedly to really see whether a pattern emerges from there. So that but what we do know is that when alcohol, especially if it's being drank, say within a few hours before sleep, if we put you under like a polysomnography and look at your brain waves, it resembles more of, rather than the normal sort of sleep architecture that we would see something more akin to light level anesthesia, because that's what alcohol actually is. It's the old school anesthetic. So it's kind of disrupting those pathways, and that's where the brain detoxes. It also suppresses REM, which is where our creativity and how we process our emotions. So one can get kind of sort of stuck by following those patterns. Again, it's not necessarily the need to eliminate, but to find the dose that, to the degree that you find benefits in these substances, but also making sure that it doesn't too much negatively impact what I would think is the most primal and foundational behavior. I mean, no other behavior takes as much time as sleep, so there's a reason why it takes so much time, because it is so important. So yeah, that was critical for my work when I first started working with patients, and really shifting and getting much better results was the emphasis on sleep quality. Yeah. And understanding that. Yeah.
I asked my doctor, Dr. Ranzahoff, for a at-home sleep test. He said it's not so simple that I have to see a neurologist to prescribe it, so I'm going to see one. The neurologist at Sansom isn't available for 3 months, actually.
Oh wow.
But any thoughts what I should do in the meantime?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to the traditional route where you go to actually a sleep lab, there are some sleep doctors around here. And again, I don't know what their availability is, but I only became aware of these at-home kits from my own pursuit for my own health. I had just recently had a doctor's appointment, and this particular doctor was already linked up with a company that did these home study kits, and so that's I'm actually going to be calling them after our session to set that up. So they send the kit, and then you wear it, and then they send it back. But before I was even made aware of that, I would always, when I felt like a sleep study was called for, I would just say, hey, you can talk to, there's a couple doctors in town that are part of sleep labs. But with the idea of now that you can do it at home, it just sounds so much easier to do it that way. But unfortunately, I don't have a shortcut, because of how to get that more quickly.
Well, and were you saying that if I don't get good REM sleep, that I'm more anxious or inclined to...
That can be.
Can be, yeah.
And can increase that. Because you can imagine, all right, your brain has to decide what information today will it decide to store in long term, because that requires energy, so it wants to make a decision, do I store it or do I not? And the way it makes the decision is how much emotional charge is connected with the information, and the more the emotional charge, the more salient it is for the brain to store that long term. So as it's going to be storing this emotionally charged information long term, it doesn't want you to, when you recall it, to have the same level of intensity that it had when you first had that experience. It wants to give you a little taste of it, but at a lower level. So the dreaming will symbolically re-represent some of that information and let your brain sort of process through it. By doing so, let's say the original intensity, let's say it was an anxiety experience, was like, say, a 6 out of 10. By going through the healthy REM sleep and processing through, maybe when you recall it again the following day, it's like a 2 out of 10. But if we were our REM was impaired, then you might notice that it might be 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10, but still much higher than it need be, and because it didn't get a chance to fully process it through. And then also that's where we get insights, because when we think, usually consciously, when we think of a certain topic, like I said, like if you're thinking of vegetables, then your brain, if it's just then might think of fruit, something really close to it, like another close category. But dreaming flips that on its head. The dreaming mind, the REM state mind, it looks for the most disparate connections between different information in your brain. Like how far can I stretch that category of vegetables to some other category where at first explicitly, there doesn't seem to be any link, but if you kind of dive underneath, there is a link. And that's where, we call it like kind of like cross-pollinating, being able to see the connections between what at first seems like disparate categories, but there are these hidden connections. And that's where, like, why oftentimes, dreaming can lead to deep insights. It's interesting. This is out of that book, Why We Sleep, by Matthew Walker.
Yeah, you mentioned that, huh? So do you think for me, in addition to ketamine, I probably need to cut back on alcohol and cannabis so that I get better REM sleep, so I'm a happier camper?
I think that would be a good thing to at least try and experiment. Because most of the time, yes, the answer is yes. And then you can just find what works best for you. Now, because also, like, you're probably getting some benefits from the cannabis that you're using. You said, creativity and everything. And so what I find is that 3 to 4 days a week for people who really find help, some usefulness, seems to be around the right number for most people, and then giving like 2 to 3 days off per week. So that also it gives your brain a chance to stop building tolerance, and then you wind up getting more out of the experience.
Is it best to do the days in a row of cannabis and then the days in a row of no cannabis, or does it matter if you mix it up or not?
I think it differs for different people, but I would say that if at least having 2 days in a row off at some point, you may want to build up to that, because if you were maybe to do that the week one, if you've been doing it every day, 2 days off the second day might be a little bit rough. So you could just do 1 day off and then 1 day on, 1 day off, if you want to play it that way. And then as your body gets used to having a couple days, the days off, then you could string 2 days in a row. But there's no need to rush. It's not like, but you can just sort of work it out that way.
What would be the bad side effect of stopping altogether? Would I get headaches or anything?
Well, for cannabis, it can be, you can notice maybe a drop in mood, increased irritability, kind of a dullness quality, because if you're using it for creativity, you probably feel less creative, less productive in that regard. So if you've been using it for those reasons, so you can just invert those things that it does do and just give the inverse, and that could be some of this. And then you might not feel anything. I mean, you were saying about 20 milligrams, so it's a decent dose, but it's not like, I have people use 100, 200 milligrams too, and it's just like, I don't know how they do that, but they do. And the same true is for alcohol, like, if it's giving you a calming sensation, everything like that, it might invert itself, or you might find it difficult when you're going out and you usually use these substances to socialize. You might find yourself feeling a little bit awkward because you don't have the quote-unquote social lubrication effect that they offer. But that can be, like something to traverse in little doses here and there to kind of practice. Because like I said, you don't have an addiction, but we're just trying to optimize the use of some of these substances that you're like to use, and also making sure that it minimizes any detrimental effects that they may have. So
makes sense.
we're nearing the end. So what I'm going to do is take a picture of these little
You the notes you took?
yes.
Okay,
And then
thank
I
you.
can hand them over to you. And then, like I said, you can have your cup of tea, and you can go out,
Okay.
outside and hang
Okay.
out. If you want to just come and just sort of enjoy the view.
Turn this off. Oh, yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about appreciating the moment. What I find help, especially for those of us who are thinkers, is just ask yourself, can I just receive this moment as it is? And you can play with your senses if you want. Just instead of like trying to look at something, let the light come to you. Let the sounds come to you. Let the smells come to you. And just practicing rather than this always do, come into receiving. And then the two are intertwined with each other, interdependent on one another. And the more you can do that, the easier it'll be to appreciate the moment. All right,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Well, I'd say I hope the session was worthwhile. I think it was. It was fun kind of performing during it because knowing I was recording, I could say anything I want or play with sounds and ideas. Was I performing for the camera or was I doing a therapeutic ketamine experience? Who's to say? Um, I certainly don't have any profound, wow, this a different take on life now. Nothing profound yet. Hearing his 6 ketamine thing, session thing, that's expensive. And there's my, is that my wife? Okay, well, here's a wrap up of yesterday's ketamine session. I think I enjoyed it as a recreational drug, tripping in my brain. I didn't see visual psychedelics, but I felt I was swimming in space, twirling. I was disassociated with my normal self for sure. I didn't know how to come back to reality, but I figured after about an hour I probably would. Hearing the doctor kind of gave me trust that it was all in order, unlike my LSD experience, which I did by myself, and I thought I had broken the universe for me and for everybody, but I hadn't. But anyway, now the question is whether it has created new neuroplasticity. Have I created new thought patterns? Will I still get depressed? Well, I haven't been depressed since, but I haven't really given it the true test. I didn't feel any new look on life. I didn't feel any new perspective on life when I came out of it, like apparently some people do. I thought it was worth doing. It was about $1,300 for the session and a hour and a half session talk therapy beforehand. I don't know that I'm going to do any more unless I find that there's some lasting influence of new thought patterns. So I thought Dr. Mantz was pretty good, and here are his notes. Let's see. They weren't that helpful, but the notes, and I didn't really have any great thing to refer to that I spoke of. This is the directions to his house. I enjoyed harmonizing with the music. I felt kind of creative and opening to the elements. Anyway, I rather enjoyed it, but here's a case study of Larry Nimmer doing ketamine on January 28th, 2024, and I'm 73 years old, still experimenting. Love ya.